I love a tenant that pays rent on time. I love a tenant that keeps the property in good condition. I love a tenant that reports maintenance issues in a timely manner and also gives me so much information to actually make a proper diagnosis as to what actually needs to be done. Who do I need to call? Welcome to Be a Better Landlord. How do you actually know who will make a good tenant and what qualifies as a good tenant? Today, we're going to get into that. My name is Ashley Kehr, and I am your host of Be a Better Landlord. Before we get started, if you haven't already, make sure you check out TurboTenant, the property management software that has all of the solutions that you need as a landlord to be effective, efficient, and to also take advantage of their AI tools. So if you haven't already, check them out. Go to turbotenant.com. Before we can even discuss what makes a good tenant, what are the qualities that they should have, who should they be, we have to look at ourselves as the landlord. And before you can even get a good tenant, you need to be a good landlord. Okay? Because you could have the most perfect tenant, but if you don't communicate, you don't follow up, you don't perform maintenance requests, they are no longer going to be that perfect tenant that you had dreamed of. Okay? So, some qualities that you can do as yourself as to, first of all, use TurboTenant. Set up effective communication. Even right from the beginning, when you are leasing the unit, make sure that everything is in your listing. When people are asking questions about the unit, you're responding. You're going through the proper application process in a timely manner. You're doing showings, you're meeting the people, you're doing customer service as per se. Many people will argue that landlording is not customer service. I truly believe that it really is, and it's going to make your life easier and the tenant's relationship with you better. Okay? So effective communication, number 1, through the whole process, the leasing process and their tenants all the way to the move out, okay? The next is having an easy to use process for them that isn't frustrating. The way that they pay rent, make it so easy by using the TurboTenant app that they can just set up automatic payments. Okay. So making it easier for them to be a better tenant, performing maintenance requests on time and in an efficient manner, communicating what's happening with their maintenance requests. As landlords, we all wish maintenance could be done like this, but sometimes a vendor is busy. Sometimes a part needs to be ordered and there can be delays. So, communicating with your tenant that, the part has shipped, it's going to be here on Tuesday. I've got a guy lined up to come and install it into your washer, whatever that may be. So, think about that first before you get too focused and worried about finding a good tenant. Make sure that you are a better landlord first. So, a good tenant starts with the leasing process, the background check, the credit check. So, having your tenant look good on paper. And of course, this is not everything. I have had great tenants on paper that ended up having to be evicted, but doing a background check on them, seeing what their criminal history is, looking at their credit history, pulling their references, looking at their income, making sure they can actually afford it. And when I'm looking at their credit reports, I'm also looking at what their debt to income is, just like a bank would. So not only can they afford the rental payment, but what are the other debts that they have? A lot of landlords just use like you need to have 3.5 times the rent as your monthly income to be able to qualify for this. Yes, for some candidates, that would work great. They could definitely afford it. But if they also have 2 car payments, a boat payment, $400 in minimum credit card payments that they're making, those can add up to really affect their debt to income. So even though they're making 3.5 times the rent, that doesn't mean they actually can afford the rent because of all of these other monthly payments that they're making. Now, once the tenant moves in, I love a tenant that pays rent on time. I love a tenant that keeps the property in good condition. I love a tenant that reports maintenance issues in a timely manner and also gives me so much information to actually make a proper diagnosis as to what actually needs to be done. Who do I need to call? I've had tenants that will just message and say, "Leaking faucet." Okay, where is it leaking? What faucet is this? Is this the bathroom? Is this the kitchen? With literally no context. And before I was even using TurboTenant, I'd have people that would text my Google Voice number and say similar things like water leak. Okay, is it leaking through the ceiling? Is it leaking from the faucet? Is it the washer leaking? And not even their name or phone number or what property they're messaging from. And TurboTenant too, that's really nice because they have the AI maintenance. And so it will actually follow up with your tenant if they do give you that really vague information to pull more information out of them and photos and things like that. So you have more information to actually handle it properly. Those are a few of the things that make a really good tenant. The next thing is they live there a long time. They live there a long time, they take care of the property, and you don't have any vacancies or turnovers in the property. Now, it's really hard to guarantee a lot of these things that they will happen, that they will always pay rent, that they will never want to leave and live there for years. I have a tenant that has lived in her property for 35 years, okay? Actually, it might even be more now. She might be up to 38 years. So she had already lived there for such a long time when I purchased the property and has continued to live there since I purchased it. And she is a dream tenant, always pays on time, always effectively communicates maintenance when it needs to be done, and she has obviously lived there a long time. I don't need to, have any vacancy or turnover in the property. Now, before we wrap this up, I do want to give an example of why it's so important for you to be a better landlord before you can actually get a good tenant. This is a story of somebody I know personally that they are the tenant. And usually I'm always on the landlord side for a lot of tenant landlord stories, but this one, not the case. So she's a tenant in an apartment. It's a 4 unit, small multifamily building. And she has lived there for about 8 months. Her lease isn't up for, another 4 months. And she's had no problem there. It's a small, little, tiny apartment. Couple of maintenance issues. She's called it's a property management company that's managing it. They've come, they've taken care of it. She's always paid her rent on time. She doesn't bother the property management company with really anything else except for, there was maybe 2 maintenance requests that needed to be taken care of, and they took care of in a timely manner. But a month ago, sitting in her bed, all of a sudden, notices some water dripping, and there's a wet spot on the ceiling starting to form. So it's a Sunday. She puts in a maintenance request through their online portal. Keeps dripping, doesn't hear anything back. And she's like, you know what? I should probably call. So she calls the emergency number and just said, I have water leaking into my apartment. It's coming onto my bed. I'm not sure what to do. Person says, okay, we'll have a maintenance give you a call. Never hears anything. Hours go by. She ends up leaving her apartment to go stay at someone else's house because she's not going to sleep with water dripping on her, and she set a bucket on her bed. So fast forward, she calls again on Monday. They say they have no record of her calling the maintenance line. She's like, okay, well, can someone please come out? They send 2 guys out. They pop open her ceiling. They're looking up there, and she's got, the tile drop ceiling. They're like, no, we don't see any water. We don't know where that could have came from. You're fine. Well, week later, guess what happens? More. And this one's more, not just pitter patter, pitter patter. This is more of a steady stream of water coming down. So she sends me a video of it, and there's a huge wet spot on the tiles. Water's just coming down. Calls maintenance, calls the property management's office. Nobody's responding to her. It's actually the middle of the day, or it's like the afternoon. It's not even like it's a Sunday evening again. Nobody's answering her calls. So once again, puts the bucket under, packs up, goes somewhere else. At this point, she asked me for an attorney reference. And she's like, I don't know what else to do. Like, I can't keep living here with this water dripping on me on my bed. And she's like, I literally think they blocked my number, which I don't know. They would actually go through the things of doing that, but she could not get a hold of anyone. So my attorney recommends that they send a letter stating what the conditions are that are happening and that they fix it in a timely manner. Nothing happens. They come out. and say, once again, we don't think there's a big problem. Like, it's fine. It must have been just some water coming in. It must have been a bad storm. And she's like, no, like, you can check the weather from a week ago. They don't do anything. Some more days go by. Starts just gushing out, like this time just gushing out. And so she has a friend come over and kind of look up in there or whatever, and it looks like it's coming from the apartment above her. And so she goes up there and it ends up their bathroom is right above her bedroom. So she's like, it's gotta be a leak from there, something that's coming down. So at this point, she decides, like, I have to keep calling, like, I can't keep paying rent to leave here. So I'm telling her to, hold rent in escrow. The first of the month was coming up, and I said, "Don't pay it, leave it in escrow, and just tell them you're withholding rent until the repairs are made." I said, "If you wanna move out, or let them know that you're willing to move out, and they can make the repairs that they need on that apartment, but you're not gonna stay there, or they need to fix it, but you're not gonna pay rent until they do." Finally, she gets a hold of somebody, and they end up letting her out of her lease agreement and telling her, "Fine, go ahead, you can move out." So now they have a vacancy. They have to do a turnover. They have a big repair that's just gotten worse because they didn't actually take the time to diagnose it and figure out what the problem was, and then completely ignored her the second time. So she was a perfect tenant. She paid her rent on time. She took really good care of the property. She never called to complain about stuff. If somebody was playing music in the other apartment, whatever, like, she lived in an apartment, she was, you know, figured that's life. That's life in an apartment, didn't complain. But then she ended up breaking her lease, moving out, and they had a turnover, which, if you're a small landlord and you have a couple properties and all of a sudden you get a letter from an attorney saying your tenant's moving out in 7 days because they're not making repairs on the property, like, "Oh my god, what am I gonna do for rent next month?" That's a horrible tenant that they're doing that to me. But in this circumstance, it was actually the landlord that turned a good tenant bad. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have a story where maybe you heard of a good tenant that had to turn bad because of an actual bad landlord, I'd love to hear it if you want to put it down in the comments. I'm Ashley Kehr, and thank you so much for joining me on Be a Better Landlord.